how close have you been following this political drama? So basically, for those that don't know, I don't know how you could not know, Downing Street came out and said MPs are plotting to get rid of Keir Starmer. He's not having it. He's strong. He's stable. The country would collapse without him. And it's all Wes Streeting's fault. The interesting thing about it was all timed to perfection because Wes Streeting was basically booked to appear on loads of TV shows in the morning. So it didn't give him much time to think about it and react. So of course he had to go on TV and sort of say that he backed the Prime Minister. That was sort of the reason why it was leaked. But it has sort of reflected badly on Keir Starmer because it's like, okay, well, you clearly don't run Downing Street very well. If people are going out briefing against people that are in jobs that you gave them, like what kind of show are you running here? And it's all become this big political mess that is serving no one. Are you aware of this story and do you care?
It makes me want to scream. Like, I prefer my drama in the form of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, okay, than our government. And I appreciate our government have a much bigger impact on my life than the Kardashians do. However...
Debatable.
But I think it's just ridiculous, and I'm going to use the word buffoons, that they are spending time listening to their own voices and arguing amongst themselves when the country is in the state that it is in, instead of just listening to their constituents. Like, as someone who's quite uneducated and quite unpolitical, isn't their job literally just to listen to their constituents, take action based on what they learn and what they say, and improve the country, or attempt to improve the country? Why are they arguing? I mean, it's just one bad thing after another. But then we've got all the polls going alongside this that are basically seeing Labour and the other parties in decline in terms of public kind of support. You're focusing your energy in the wrong place. You're doing the wrong thing here, and you're arguing publicly. The country are seeing you do this, and we're getting nowhere. I saw a lot of critique of Keir Starmer, and I continue to, and I have my own thoughts on him, but saying, you know, he's the worst prime minister in the history of prime ministers and all of this. And I swear we say this about every prime minister we have because none of us are ever happy, and for good reason. But we've had votes of no confidence in previous prime ministers. We've had prime ministers that we've kind of aligned with lettuces to see which one is going to last longer. Like, we can't... For me, it's disappointing that our government are somewhat comedic or a joke to us as the public, because that, regardless of who you support or who you vote for or where we're at as a country, it's not a good place to be, I don't think. Like, there isn't that security and stability. I don't believe any of them have, you know, our best interests at heart or are doing, you know, they're just all self-centered, narcissistic, like I said, buffoons, just listening to their own voices and arguing all the time.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's interesting to hear it from your point of view as someone that's maybe not as interested in politics as I am. Because I look at this and I get everything you're feeling of the disappointment is like, this really is where we're at. I kind of look at it more from a fascinating point of view. Like, I can't believe they've scored an own goal. I can't believe they've said that. Like, this is just wild. But, you know, I think we all should want them to be better. Like, I'm just there sort of just fascinated at this car crash, like, circus. I think realistically, there has always been this going on. Like, politics is a dirty game. It's all about backstabbing. It's all about favors. It's all about climbing up the ladder and, you know, watching your back when you're at the top of the ladder. And this is what's playing out. I think what we've seen in the past sort of 5 to 10 years is because the country is not doing well. These things are fast forwarded now. Like, we're blowing through prime ministers like there's no tomorrow, because at the end of the day, like, people aren't happy and the living situations in the country are not what people want or expect. So then there's more pressure on politics to deliver quicker, and because they can't, they then sort of turn on each other. So, you know, it's not ideal. I mean, I really, as much as I am kind of on the record as being very against digital ID, which I am, I wouldn't mind exploring the idea of digital democracy a little bit more, which would be something along the idea of we all get a say in most things. So I think you would have elected officials like we do now with politicians, but I think it could just be more a part-time role. And what they all do is they basically say, look, we've got to change how we fund the NHS, for example. We've costed up 3 options and we're now going to the public and getting them to vote. I mean, you could have just do it on your smartphone. I know some people are against that, on which one they'd like. The reason I would say I want that is because we've seen over time politicians and prime ministers come in, make an absolute mess of the country, then they go off. Like they're, on an American speaking tour, or they've got enough stocks and shares, they're okay. And the country is always left with their bad political choices. If the country had more of a say in sort of the big things around energy, around international policy, or whatever, where actually you need the backing of the public to do big things that are going to be implemented over years, I think that is possibly worth exploring and seeing how we could do it. Because right now, this system we have, which is a very old-fashioned system of we elect a local MP, then they basically have free range to do whatever they want. A lot of them vote against the way their constituents wanted, as we saw in Brexit. I just don't know that this works, and I don't think this system is going to hang up much longer because it's not getting results. And we're all such a generation now that wants our say. I mean, if you're going on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever and screaming about, yeah, you're stupid, wouldn't it be more productive if you could just vote yourself? We obviously, in I think it was ancient Greek times, like everyone got a vote on everything that happened. And I just think that we now have the technology where I don't think people want to vote on everything. I don't think people want politics that much in their lives. But if, say, every quarter, it was just a thing we got into. So, oh, I need to go and do my voting, and these are all the things the politicians propose, and this is where I am. That might be something to explore.
I couldn't agree with you more, Lewis, and they're words I never thought I would say.
I thought you were going to give me a hard time on it.
No, I have been saying this in some similar form for a long time. We talk so much about being a democracy, however, we don't actually make the decisions. We don't have a say in the things that impact us. Like, I appreciate that the democracy at the top level means we vote in our MPs and they're supposed to represent us, but we know that that isn't the case in a lot of constituencies, and people are unhappy all the time. So I think more than anything, it would give power back to the people. It would also shift responsibility and accountability back to public. I think particularly when everyone's got an opinion on the NHS, for example. So saying like, okay, we did what we did. This is democratic. This is where we're at. And I think it would also make the politicians work harder about being honest and being truthful, because you would see they would have to sell these ideas to us, not sell, but present. And we would have to engage with it. And I think more people would engage with politics and try and understand it. And it would impact our voting. I think it would be hugely beneficial for us all to have a say in certain things. I agree, we're not all qualified, but I don't know that a lot of them are qualified either to make these decisions. But we all live in this country, and we should have a right to say to speak on those things. So yeah, for the first and possibly last time ever, I agree with you, Lewis Oakley.
I'll take it.